This is a video I took tonight on June 18th. As I'm walking along right here, you can see one right there. All of these black spots, I'll show you up close. This is all plasma fire. That's ash. And I'll just come down here to the end to show you the scorched grass. Scorched grass there and there. Here. I don't want to freak people out to say, what the fuck are you doing filming my house? Because it's happened before. You can see the tips of this. The tips of this grass is kind of blackened. It's not just soaked with oil. This wasn't like this yesterday. I walk this street every day. I know this happened in the last 24 hours. I walk this street every day. So I guess if they came out and jumped my shit, said, what are you doing? I could tell them, look, this happened. You don't know what it is, but I do. Let me tell you. So, plasma, fire. The tip of this one is burned. Oh, this must be what burned. A bunch of these. You can see the tip of that one's burned. Like these must, oh yeah, that one was standing right there. And so there must have been more of these at each one of these spots where you see the ash. So I'll move along now and go clean my hands off. There was one there and one there, so there's 1, 2. That one didn't leave as big of a pile. 3, 4, 5, 6. But then down here where it gets down into the grass, "24 hours. I walk this street every night. If these people came out and asked me, what are you doing? They'd probably recognize me. I'm the guy that walks down this street every night. And these telephone poles, where the bottom of them are all discolored, this proves it's not directed energy. Because the bottom of the telephone poles are discolored, 75% of them nationwide, like a low-level ambient background radiation, not directed energy. Just thought I'd mention that. That's all. Just another plasma fire in the neighborhood. This is a video I took 2 days ago, June 16th. So this is just for a reference of the upcoming video I'm going to make showing the tree bubbling sap. You can see the discolored area on the bottom of this pole. And the same on that pole down there. And the same on that pole over there. Like the earth has an aura that goes up about 2 feet on average, usually. In some of these plasma fires, like Paradise, California, all the trees were burned up to about 20 feet. In other words, the aura that the earth naturally has is that goes up about that tall was amplified, and all the trees were burned exactly the same height. I've got videos that I've taken where there's a stripe of burn only on the street-facing side. And this is also a repetitive pattern that I've documented plenty of times. And sometimes these telephone poles will have oil bubbling out of them, dripping out, oozing out down here like it melts it. The rest of the pole is dry. They add creosote oil to keep it from doing weather rot. All of that stuff warms up, runs down to the bottom, and some of them, you can see that oil bubbling out at the bottom. This one's a good example where it's burned only on the street-facing side. Right by that wire, there's a wire that runs under this piece. And that discoloration right there is plasma burn. Some have it more than others, and some are almost reversed. See how that one's slightly different color, 2 feet, the bottom 2 feet? Some of them are white at the bottom. Like this one over here, it's actually darker up above, and it's white at the bottom. This one has got the same brown burnt look, but that one over there is lighter at the bottom. I'm not sure what makes the difference, but I know this is one of the burn signatures, if you will, one of the markers of the plasma fire phenomenon. Without it actually catching fire and burning, it's low-level radiation on a long-term continual basis. Here's another one that's white at the bottom. But either way, that bottom 2 feet is being affected differently, and this didn't used to happen. This is only something that has been happening the last few years and is part of the plasma fire phenomenon. Another pattern that you'll see is a burn stripe going up the pole only on the street-facing side, like it's making a wireless connection between all of the wires that run in the road underground, or the pipes, be it sewer pipe, water pipe, etc., fiber optic cable. Anything buried under the ground here is making a wireless circuit, like the electricity goes up through the pole and then back toward the street-facing side, so there's only a strip of burn on the street-facing side. This one has the discoloration at the bottom couple feet. This one, same thing, not quite as much. That one down there, even more so. This one doesn't have it hardcore, but you can see the discoloration. Here is brown. On the street-facing side, quite a bit different color there. And it's just a strip that runs up and down the street-facing side, not the rest of it. So that one's just barely cooked, golden brown, like you like your hot dogs. Only on the street-facing side. This is a video that someone sent me a link to a couple weeks ago.
In my yard, I have this huge tree, and I came outside and I heard it, and it's bubbling. I'm not sure why, and it kind of intensifies every so often and bubbles more. That can't be good, right? That can't be good. In my yard, I have this huge tree, and I came outside and I heard it, and it's bubbling. I'm not sure why, and it kind of intensifies every so often and bubbles more. That can't be good, right? That can't be good.
This is a video I took a couple weeks ago that's nearly identical to a video that I took last year where the irrigation ditch has plasma fire on it. So this is going to be another video showing you that there's burning along the trench, like inside here, right about this level on both sides. And I made these videos last year. You can see where the grass that's black on the tips. And it goes on down here. I made these the last couple of years. And you can see the burning intermittently, sporadically, all along the trench. Right up here to the top, see, like right here. The tips of this grass that are all black is all burned, and right here you can see it's turned to ash. It's ash, like right around this area right here. Not sure how well that's taken the photo or the video. And it's like that all through the trench here. You can kind of see those black tips on these over here. But right there is a great spot, because right there in the middle is all ash. And I can show you the ash kind of blowing and in the wind and flying away. Anyway, so there's more of this burning all along the trench here, right up into the grass. And all this down here on the bottom. Here's another spot with some that's burnt to charcoal, like right here. You see the charcoal line on this big piece of grass? And how it just kind of breaks away. And how all these have been turned to charcoal. Oh, see that one I just busted off? This whole thing is, well, part of it is like charcoal. If I could run the camera a little better. You can see the ash down in here. And it's all the way on down the trench. It's burnt on both sides of the trench, going all the way down. I've got a couple of videos I took last year, this same phenomenon, and I've talked before about how plasma flows like water. It hits the low spots and burns everything on the low spots, but not the high spots. So if we would all put our mind together, we could have figured out a way to channel plasma, kind of like what might be happening here. Because I would go across a field that's just as flat as this green lawn, and there would be humps like molehills along it, and those would be unburned all the way throughout the field, like little islands that are sticking up through the water of plasma on top of the land. And the plasma flows like water across the land and leaves the high spots or the dry spots untouched. So because plasma flows like water, if everyone would have put their minds to it, we could have figured out ways to channel the burning and keep other places that we don't want to burn from doing so. But no, you guys had to sit there for the last 6 years pretend like this shit ain't happening. Well, I run around this whole area right here. Everything inside this circle right here is all ash. Other than the few unburned spots, like right here that's unburned, but it's all semi-burned. Like this all has the black burned tips. Like each one of these burns like a and you can see the burn lines up to right here. It goes up into the grass, burn line, burned on the right, unburned on the left, right? So each one of these burns like a filament, like a fiber optic cable, where right at the end of the cable you can see it glowing right at the tip of the fiber optic cable. I'll bet this grass burned in a similar way, where the tips were burning. If anything was visibly burning, might have just been smoking and smoldering. So the burn line goes there and comes right here. You can see it's a pretty clear burn line here. People probably like, what the hell's this dude doing? No one even notices this shit. Oh yeah, your world's just burning up around you and you're not noticing. It's okay. Yeah, go back to whatever you were doing. I'm sure this grass here that's just ash, you can turn it to ash and pick it up, and this is grass turned to ash around here. All of that. Anyway, so we got another springtime where the trenches are burning. This whole trench has burning along both sides, all the way up there, and everyone drives past not knowing a thing about what's going on here. Have to be your public service announcement. The low spots are burning. It's like a weather forecast. I'm giving you your plasma weather forecast. Low spots are burning. Watch your trenches. It's flowing like water again this spring. Got the plasma runoff. That's all for now. And since we covered some of the stuff about the power poles, I'll just breeze over a couple of my older videos. So here we are at whatever that is, 600 West in Tremont, and I'm headed towards the hot springs over there. Freeway's right over there. And as I'm driving by, I saw this. Now I can show you these every day, and I really don't want to, but this one's unique enough. It definitely deserves a taken look at. And my screen, I got a lot of glare. So this is just a telephone pole or a power line pole. And you can see how far in it's burnt right there. And if you, so that's what it is, just a regular old pole. But right here you can see that this is visible enough from a pretty major road that I shouldn't be the only one showing you this. It's cognitive dissonance at its finest, man. The fact that people drive by this and they don't call the power company and say, hey, I think you got an electrical short. It's over here shorting out on the power line. Because when you drive by from the road, this is the road right here, so you're from that angle where you can clearly see. That sucker looks like it's about to topple over. It's missing so much on the bottom right there. Maybe that's what this metal reinforcement is about. They're like, oh, let's just throw a little brace on there. Maybe it's my shadow. I can't hardly see anything on the screen. But I'll just go ahead and circle around it and call it a video. That's about the bottom where it stops. Here, look how much is missing from right here, man. I mean, that's a big old chunk missing out of that pole. Huh? Yar. So, off to the hot springs we go. And I got some more babble and bloviation to do when I get there. Yeah, because the shadow's right in line with it. If the shadow wasn't right there, I'd be able to get right here to the edge where you can see the profile of it, how much is really missing there. But I think you can probably get a pretty good idea. Okay, I'm going to re-record this part. I'm not sure what I recorded and what I didn't, but there you can see one titled Plasma Pole Graveyard Serenade. I'm just going to link these in the description. That one's only 7 minutes, but the one to the right of it, I triggered a truth suppression agent, where I'm also covering the telephone poles and the burn signatures on them, and this guy comes up to me telling me, hey, what are you doing filming my house? I said, no, I'm filming the poles. He's like, oh, that's just a sunburn, that's just creosote. And by the end of the conversation, he says, okay, it's electrolysis. And if you want to know where there's a bunch more poles like that, I put in the hydroelectric dam up in Provo Canyon, the first 3-phase power generation facility there at the hydroelectric dam, and we took a bunch of poles, and he tries to give me directions on where to find a whole bunch more poles, kind of like what we got here. So this one's titled Plasma Pole Graveyard Serenade, so that probably means I sing you a song while I'm filming. But it was where I was delivering a load, and I come upon and see that they've stacked up a bunch of these power poles that have plasma burned out in the middle of nowhere, and just stash them out there where no one can see them. And that's that. And so I'll link this one in the description. It's only 7 minutes. So this one's got a bunch of good examples of the burn line on the street facing side and the discoloration at the bottom of the pole, which I went over earlier in this video. And I drive down the road and show you, I don't know, 6, 8, 10, 20, however many I show you. See the burn on the street facing side, just a strip going up the pole? And I show you quite a few of these until we get up to the spot where Old Man Withers, or whatever it was in Scooby-Doo, runs up to me saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Filming my house." That one's a good one with the burn on the street-facing side. Good example. Oh, here's Old Man Withers.
Across the, what is it, treatment.
Right. It looks like it heats it all up and makes it run to the bottom and then kind of cooks it out of it or something.
Yeah, it's creosote.
They all got the burn on the lower 3/4 too. I've seen some where they've had to come re-brace it up. I've taken videos. Right, they burn out right there. It burns a pit out of them.
What it does is this is the reason that turns that color.
Yeah.
Because that creosote turns to the top.
Right, and I think on some... See, at the first of this video, he's just telling me, oh, it's just creosote, it's just the sun. By the end of this video, he admits it's electrolysis and that he knows a lot more about it than he's leading on. Right, the same stuff. And I think it runs to the bottom, and on some of them it turns white, and on others it turns black, like a different brand they use or something. That's all I was checking out. Yeah, it's always on the south side, like the sun rises and sets in the south.
Well, that's where the heat.
Right, yeah.
But I know that I've worked power lines before, and that's an issue. What it does is it pulls it to, so they'll actually start to rot on.
Speaking of power lines, my last load I picked up, there was a whole, I made a video titled Power Pole Graveyard. Because there was a bunch of... I'll link that in the description, and you can watch him turn from a plasma fire denier to a confessor of the truth that he's actually sitting on. And he spits out the word electrolysis. Because there's this strip alongside, on that side of the pole, that's directly in alignment with the metal pole next to it. And there's obviously some sort of electrical connection going on. That's why there's this extra strip. Right here, going up. Let me move my thingy over. There's a strip going up right here that's directly in alignment with this metal pole next to it. And when I point that out to him, he finally confesses, okay, it's electrolysis, and I know a lot more about it, and if you want to know where there's a bunch of these burned up poles, he tells me where to go. So let's wrap this video up.